Today, we're going to be covering everything you need to know to set up your Facebook ad account and create campaigns that are profitable and will scale. I'm going to show you every screen, every button. I'm going to give you best practices for every option. And this is going to end with me literally building an ad account and a campaign and ads and targeting and everything from scratch on the screen so you can copy and paste your way to success today. You are truly in for a treat today. Now, some of you coming here are brand new, and some of you might be intermediate or have a moderate level of experience and skill when it comes to setting up Facebook ads. Wherever you're at, I'm going to take you from there to full-blown expert by the end of this video. I've gone ahead and broken down this whole video into chapters and timestamps down below, so you can skip ahead to the section that you're looking for or come back and review any information as needed. Just make sure to stick around to the end because I'm doing a massive giveaway that you don't want to miss. So let's get started. I'm going to show you everything we're going to cover today. We're going to start with why run ads on Facebook. Understand if Facebook is right for you, is your audience on Facebook, and what results you can expect. I'm also going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to create and set up your business manager. And this is everything from creating a Facebook page to creating your business manager, creating your ad account, connecting your Facebook page, adding a payment method, verifying your domain, and creating and installing the Meta Pixel. Then we'll get into budget and campaign planning so that you know exactly how much money you should be spending on Facebook and exactly how to set up your campaign for best success. Then I'm actually going to step-by-step walk you through how to set up your first campaign. We're going to talk about what types of campaigns you could be running, and I'm going to walk you through my ideal campaign setup. We're also going to talk about how to create copy that converts and how to actually build your individual ads for best performance. And we're going to end this with optimization and scale. So let's get into it. Let's start at the very beginning with why you should run ads on Meta. What are the three main things that we can do with running ads on Meta? The first thing we can do is generate sales. The next thing we can do is generate leads. And lastly, we can talk about promoting content. When it comes to generating sales, this is what we call e-commerce. And this allows us to show ads to specific people to get them to buy specific products or services from our website. We also have the option for lead generation. And to be fair, sales and lead gen dominate the vast majority of ad spend. And you're probably here because you want to do one of those two things. Now, when it comes to lead gen, we can run ads to specifically get names and phone numbers and emails and more from our target customers to power our sales team and the rest of our business. And also we can use ads to promote content. And this allows us to make sure that the perfect person sees the perfect content at the right time for our business. Now, let's talk about why you should run ads on Meta and why Meta is so powerful. It has over 10 years of data on your behavior. And this data grows with every single impression, both organically and with paid. Meta knows every like, share, comment, message, or video that you viewed on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp. Meta knows every website and page that you've been to. Meta knows everywhere you've been in the world if you've had a smartphone on you. They know what you spend your money on. They know when you spend money. They know who you talk to and hang out with. And to give a quick example of how this works, if you're in the market potentially to buy running shoes, Meta knows that every other April you buy a new pair of running shoes. They know that usually you spend between $60 and $100. They know you've been spending more in recent years. They know that you've been to a shoe store recently. They know that your friends are more active, you're buying healthier food, and you went to a sneaker company's website. And based on all of that information, They know that you're more likely to be receptive to seeing an ad about a sneaker. And this is really how Meta works, and something that separates it from other platforms like Amazon or Google, where you tell the machine what you're looking for. Instead, on Meta, they know what you're looking for and give you that content without you having to ask. That is incredibly powerful. Let's address the elephant in the room. Is your audience on Facebook? The answer is yes. I have never seen a business too niche to run ads on the Meta platform, and I've been inside of hundreds of ad accounts. Meta has trillions of data points on billions of people going back over a decade. The Meta Pixel is on almost every site you've ever been to. They know every shilling, euro, rand, and penny you've ever spent on anything that wasn't in cash and coin. They know what you buy, why you buy, where you've been, who you talk to, what you like, what you don't, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel sad, and how to condition human behavior to put dopamine and joy at the fingertips of billions of people 24 hours a day. Nothing is smarter or more powerful or reaches more people every single day than maybe the sun. Let's dive into what you need to actually start running ads. Inside the machine, you need 5 things: a business manager, an ad account, a verified domain, a Meta Pixel, and a Facebook page. The business manager, this holds all of your business assets, from your ad account, your pages, your pixels, your payment methods, etc. Your ad account is where you create all of your campaigns, and you can have up to 5 ad accounts in any business manager. You're also going to be required to verify ownership of the domain that you're driving ads to. And I know this can get super technical, and I'm going to share my screen and tell you exactly how to do this no matter where your domain is being hosted. You're also going to need a Meta Pixel. This is code that you put on your site to track actions. This is another highly technical thing, but they make it super easy. And again, I'm going to show you in a little bit everything that you need to do to copy and paste your way to success. And of course, you need to have a Facebook page and or Instagram account, because this is where you actually run all of your ads from. So step 1, create a Facebook page. We're going to sign up at facebook.com/pages/create. And I'm going to drop a link down here in the description so that you can literally just click the buttons and follow along. From here, you're going to select the type of page you want to create: business or brand or community and public figure. You're then going to enter your business information. For the category section, type a word or two that describes your business, and Facebook will suggest categories for you and pick the one that's most appropriate. Then you're gonna create your page's username. This will be your your handle, and web page on Facebook. So use your business name or your website. Then enter in your business details, your website, the description of your business, contact info, location, hours, etc. Be thorough, be specific. The more information you give it, the more legitimate you will be to the machine, the less likely you're going to have any issues down the road. And also make sure you add a profile and cover picture to your account. Now, I have some best practices for you here that I want to cover before we move on. First, before you run any ads, post 20 to 25 times on your Facebook page. Without these posts, Facebook is likely to see you as illegitimate and can get your page shut down and even get your account banned. I recommend that you post at least 3 times a day for that first week after you make the page. And then you can decrease to once a day for another week, and then you can post maybe twice a week after that, just to make sure that the page is active. Posting not only tells Meta that you're a legit business, but also helps teach the machine who likes your content. And this is a sneaky trick to help you improve your results. Step 2 is to create your business manager. From here, you're going to go to business.facebook.com. And again, there'll be a link in the description for you. Click Create Account and fill up the information with your real business data. Avoid using Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, etc. if at all possible. Meta will send you an email with a confirmation link you should click on that as soon as possible. Remember, Meta uses artificial intelligence to verify if people are legit and aggressively screens for scammers and bots. Don't give them any reason to question your legitimacy. Prioritize doing the business verification process as soon as it is available on your business manager. Be thorough and prompt to avoid any potential issues with getting banned or restricted in the future. This will verify that you're a real business and will create an extra layer of security to your business manager, which again will help you if you ever face any issues with account bans or restrictions or getting hacked. Step 3, create your ad account. You're going to go to business.facebook.com/settings/ad-accounts. Again, the link is in the description for you. And select your business manager. You're going to click accounts and click add accounts. Here you'll click on add and a menu will drop down and then hit create new ad account. Simply name the ad account whatever you want. This will only be for internal reference. No one outside of your business will see this. And select your time zone and currency. Make sure your time zone corresponds with your currency, US time zone using US dollars, for example. Otherwise, you might have problems when trying to run your ads and you'll have to create a new account. When you begin, you will only have the permission to create one ad account per business manager. As soon as Facebook charges your credit card for the first time, this limit is raised to 3 accounts per business manager. I highly recommend that you create all 3 of these ad accounts as soon as possible so that they can serve as a contingency if you have any issues with getting blocked or hacked or have any other issues in your business. Step number 4, create your Facebook page. Go to business.facebook.com/settings/ad accounts. Again, the link is in the description. And select your business manager. From here, you're going to click accounts and then click pages. Click on add and a menu will drop down. Hit add a page. If you already own this page, you won't need to request access. However, if you're running ads for somebody else, then you can request access to that page here, just typing in the page name or the URL. At this point, you'll also have the option of creating a page, and this will take you back to step 1. Step number 5, add a payment method. Here, you're going to go to the business settings tab inside your business manager. Click on billings and payments. Click on payment methods and add a valid form of payment. Generally, this is either a credit card or a PayPal account. Avoid using PayPal if at all possible. PayPal accounts tend to have more billing issues and more account disruption than direct billing with credit cards. I don't know why, but just sometimes PayPal is more troublesome, and we don't want trouble. Also, if you're running ads for a client, never use your own card in their account. Not only does this prevent issues with the client relationship, but it also allows them to be billed directly without having to have you as an intermediary. Billing information will also be consistent throughout the account, meaning that the business name on the account is the same as on the credit card. This is going to help you avoid any future account hold issues when it comes to billing. Step number 6, verifying your domain. This is required and can feel a little challenging or complicated, but I promise they've made it very easy for you. First, go to the Business Settings tab inside your Business Manager and go to the Brand Safety and Suitability section. Click on Domain, and then from there, click Add and Create New Domain. Enter in your domain here. We don't need any HTTP or www. For instance, you could just type in disruptorschool.com, although it's probably better if you put in your own business. Now you're going to want to log into your domain registrar and visit the DNS settings page. You want to add a new DNS record of type TXT. Enter an @ symbol in the host name field if they require it. In the content field, you're going to copy and paste the verification TXT record that is provided in the Business Manager from Meta. Then we simply go back to the Business Manager in Meta and click Verify. What's going on here is that Meta is going to your website to verify that the code they've given you shows up on the pages that you've asked them. This demonstrates that you are in control and own that domain, which is required for you to be able to run ads. This process is a little different for everyone depending on the domain registrant used. I highly suggest using the FAQ section of whatever your domain registrant is to guide you along the way. Step number 7, creating and installing your Meta pixel. This part is essential if you're going to be running any leads or sales campaigns. And it can feel complicated, but I assure you it's really simple. I'm going to walk you through step by step everything that you need to do. Go to the Business Settings tab inside your Business Manager, click on Events Manager, and then click Connect Data Sources. Select Web, and then click Next. From here, you want to name your pixel. This is what they also call a data set. From here, you're going to choose how to connect to your website. And depending on where you've built your website, the process is going to be a little bit different. Now, one of the options is connect manually. And it's going to give you some code. You're going to copy that code and place it on every web page in your site. The other option is a lot easier. You can select the partner that you've built your website on, like HubSpot or Wix or Shopify, and then simply follow their small bit of instructions and it will do all of the work for you. So let's get into budget and campaign planning. Now we're going to cover 3 very important topics here. First, the ideal Meta budget. We're also going to touch base on the learning phase as well as CBO versus ABO. I'm also going to break down exactly how campaigns work, and then we'll dive into how the Facebook algorithm actually works. So that being said, let's get into how to know your ideal Meta budget. So the first thing we need to do here is establish a runway. This is your total budget and total time that you can invest. So let me give you a quick example of what this might look like. Say you have $10,000 in the bank and you're giving yourself 3 months to either make this work or walk away. That means you have roughly a little bit over $100 a day that you can invest. That is now your ideal budget. If you spend that $10,000 and can't make it work, you know to walk away, but every bit of revenue you make out of that $10,000 spent is more time, right? So if you spend $10,000 and have nothing, well, you're out. But if by the end of that $10,000 you have $5,000, well, you could continue to go. If you have $20,000, you can continue to go and potentially scale your budgets. The point of this is clearly identifying your time and your money to determine whether or not this is worth any future investment. That is the single best way on day 1 of knowing exactly how much you should be spending. Now, another way of looking at this is how much of your profits can you afford to spend? Putting money into ads instead of the bank. If my business is making on average $250 profit per day, could I invest 20% of that into ads to try to see if I can grow that number? If I'm investing $50 of my $250 into Meta ads, then I'm not actually really losing money, I'm just investing in potential. So let's do another real world example of this. Let's say my business on average is making between $200 and $300 profit a day. Let's say it's $250. Could I invest 20% of that money that I would otherwise put in the bank into Meta ads to potentially grow my business? Well, 20% of $250 is $50. That would let us know what our actual allowable Meta budget is. And because we're willing to invest that 20%, that is our ideal Meta budget. Which ultimately brings us to the last point here, which is a total loss investment. And this is thought of how much can you afford to lose. Investing in growth is rarely profitable on day 1. The important thing to remember here is that you're likely not going to be making money right out of the gate. Your business wasn't super profitable the day you started. If you have a retail business, it wasn't like you were super successful in the first week. It takes time to grow these things. So when we're looking at a total loss investment, or how much money can we afford to lose, that really sets us up for success by allowing us to look at the bigger picture. In the examples we've given today, that total loss investment might be $10,000 over the next 90 days, or it might be 20% of operating profits. If we know we can lose that money and continue to move forward, that is our ideal meta budget. So let's dive into a little bit more of our campaign planning. And what I want to talk about today is the learning phase. And this is really important to understand. One of our primary focuses around our budget and campaign planning is to get out of learning. When planning our budgets and our campaigns, we want to focus on getting out of learning. Remember that ads that are in our learning phase are less stable and as such, less scalable. The learning phase is basically Meta's way of telling you, I am not confident yet in delivering you a consistent result. Now, maybe the results are really good, maybe they're really bad. Odds are they're gonna be good for the first few days, then they're gonna tank for a little bit, and then they're gonna rise back up to some sort of nominal level. And we have to remember that this is all part of the game, right? The waves go up and down and eventually they level off. And our number one focus is to get to that leveling off point quickly and then ultimately improve it so that we can scale. That's what optimization and scaling our ad accounts is all about. And there are a lot of folks that look at those first few days and get super excited and then see the next few days and get completely deterred. The point is, this is all something we can expect. So let's get through this phase as fast as we can and then focus on making everything better. So now that we know that, how do we plan to get out of the learning phase quickly? And this brings us to the next point. How much does each sale cost you? We have to remember that this is also a platform cost per result versus an actual blended cost. What's important to remember here is that the data inside of Meta is only built on what it can see. And this is where attribution comes into play. A lot of people think attribution is around what credit Meta takes for results, but really it's just about what results are you letting Meta see to ultimately make more decisions. And what's really important to understand is if you make 100 sales in your business, but Meta only sees one sale, then that means getting out of the learning phase is gonna take 100 times longer. Which brings us to our final point. How many actions can you afford to buy within a week? Each ad set might require 10 to 25 results in a week to learn. So if we know, for instance, that it costs us $10 to buy an action, that means we should expect to have to spend at least $100 to $250 within a 7-day period to get our effort out of the learning phase. And this is where our budget and our campaign planning really come together. Our campaign should be simple enough to get out of the learning phase quickly, and our budget should be enough to support that effort. Continuing our conversation on campaign planning, let's cover CBO versus ABO real. This can be thought of as where do we set the budget, either at the campaign level or at the ad set level. We also need to decide how much control do we want to have and where do we want to apply that control. And in ABO, or when we set the budgets at the ad set level, we control where the budget goes. The thing that you really need to understand here is that the machine is really smart. It's actually the smartest artificial intelligence to condition human behavior ever invented. We know that. We've gone through exactly how detailed all of that information is. The question is, do you want to leverage the machine by putting your budget at the campaign level? Or do you want to micromanage the machine and basically say, I'm going to use the world's most powerful machine, but not for what it's actually good at doing? Which is why ABO is thought of as the old way. And long story short, ABO for 99% of you is not the way. Every single campaign you launch should have a clearly defined business objective that is not only trackable, but improvable. So that being said, let's get to these 3 quick points. You need to define your goal for each campaign. What is the one thing we want our ads to do? And to determine our one thing, we need to clearly define what is our definition of success. put a number to the goal. One of the simplest ways of doing this is taking out a sticky note and putting a number on it. And you know everything either above that number is great or below that number is great, but clearly define it. Is it number of new customers? Is it volume of revenue? Is it total blended CPA? Make sure that this is a quantifiable thing. It should be a hard and fast number, and know whether more than that number or less than that number means that you're doing a good job. And the last part of our campaign planning is understanding our ad assets. Do we have copy? Do we have creative? Do we have our landing pages built? What about any tools that we're going to be using? Perhaps A/B split testing for landing pages, or something for post-transactional upsells, something to capture email addresses. Let's make sure we know and have tracked and have written down all of the things that are going to go into our customer journey when they see the ad and when they click on the ad. Now, for quick reference, and you can clearly bookmark this or print your screen whenever you want, here are the 3 layers of your meta ad campaign. The top layer is the campaign level. This is where we assign our primary advertising objective. We choose the type of campaign and assign our budget. Below that is the ad set, where we can determine our specific goal, our bid type, and our targeting. And below that is our ad. This is where we have our copy and our creative and our call to action. This is where we put in the link that we're gonna drive people to and any tracking UTMs. What you need to know is that every ad lives in ad sets. All of our ad sets live inside of our campaign, and the campaign determines which ad set to spend money on, and the ad sets determine which ad to show to people. So now let's get into creating our successful ad campaign. We're gonna cover types of campaigns, how meta works, and our ideal campaign setup. So now let's get into creating a successful ad campaign. Now, before we start with our screen shares, I want to show you how Meta's business model actually works. And by the end of this, you're going to have a complete blueprint for the ideal campaign setup. All right, let's get to it. Engaging user experience and the retention of attention. And to put it simpler, the engaging user experience. Meta is really good at understanding what type of content makes users stop scrolling when they see it. And it rewards when you can get a user to engage with the content. The retention of attention is all about understanding that Meta will prioritize and getting users to come back to the platform more often. Why this really matters to you as an advertiser is that content that people want to see will be shown to more people for a lower price. And content that is less engaging and less interesting and generally more salesy or just really boring is going to be more expensive to show to people, because ultimately bad content is a liability to your business partner's business model. Engaging content is cheap to show to people. Salesy content is expensive, and that's really important. With that being said, let's get back to another Disruptor School best practice with the ideal campaign setup. This is the one campaign architecture. And in this, we're going to have CBO, meaning we're going to set the budget at the campaign level. And we're going to do broad targeting, and we're going to get into more stuff at the ad set level. I just want you to know what ideal looks like. And then we're going to break down each thing after the campaign level right after this. What you need to know in this ideal campaign setup is that we have one ad set with 4 to 6 proven ads. And then we're going to use dynamic, creative, or flexible ads to specifically test to improve the ads that are most poorly doing their job. This leverages the scientific method and machine learning to do all the hard work for us. And ultimately, it's built on a simple theory. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So as long as we're making the weakest link stronger, it's going to be very hard for us to do anything but make more money. And I've been doing this style build for over 5 years and have personally managed over $500 million in Facebook ad spend on this type of campaign structure alone. This is the simplest, easiest way to see the most success. And I'm also going to show you a little trick later called the 3-2-2 method, which is going to make this even easier. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and create that successful campaign. First, we're going to go to the Ads Manager tab inside your Business Manager and click on the green plus create button in the upper left-hand corner. You're going to pick your campaign objective. In this example, we're going to choose sales. And you'll have a choice between an Advantage Shopping Plus campaign or a manual sales campaign. If we want to choose a leads style campaign, we're going to select that. And then we're going to have the choice between a tailored leads campaign or a manual leads campaign. From there, we're going to start creating our successful ad set. In this example, I'm going to show a sales campaign. You could also choose a leads campaign, and it's going to look almost identical. So from here, we're going to need to choose where we want to drive sales. This could be our website and Facebook, Instagram shops. It could be just our website and apps. Generally speaking, you're probably going to choose website. We're also going to pick our performance goal. I recommend that we have maximum number of conversions as our goal. And we're going to choose our pixel. And we have the option of entering a cost per result goal. This is where we can do things like cost caps. Below that, we're going to have an attribution setting. I generally suggest you either choose a 7-day click, 1-day view, or a 1-day click. And to be totally honest, the conversation around attribution could be its own 2-hour-long video. What you need to know is that basically 7-day click, 1-day view gives the machine the most amount of data, and a 1-day click gives it the least amount of data. However, the 1-day click is the highest quality data. So it's volume of information versus quality of information. And what you really need to know is that choosing 1-day click is a luxury. That unless you're driving hundreds or thousands of sales a day is something you're probably never going to have to worry about. With that being said, now we're going to choose to turn on our dynamic creative, and it'll give us this little pop-up on how to create ads with dynamic creative. I'm going to flip that on. Now, depending on your ad account, this might look a little bit different. Meta is always changing things, and sometimes I see this not even being an option because it goes straight to a flexible ad. That's fine. What we really need to understand is if this is a choice, this is where you turn it on. When we're talking about DCTs or dynamic ads, this is where we choose to do it at the ad set level. All right, so let's get into how to choose your targeting. So when choosing targeting, we can choose if we want the Advantage Plus audience or switch to original audience options. And what you really need to know here is that Advantage Plus is going to be less scalable, but give you better results. So it's easy mode versus expert mode. Expert mode is going to be more profit, more volume, more opportunity, but it might take you a little bit longer to be successful. So understand where you're at. And if you just need an easy win, just do Advantage Plus. If you're more intermediate or expert level, you're going to use original. Then we're going to choose if you want Advantage Plus placements or switch to manual placement. And again, really all you need to know is that you will probably never win by choosing manual placement. This is a luxury option for high-end marketers. And again, you probably don't need to worry about this. The platform is going to choose who to show your content to, and that content will be shown to them on the platform that makes the most sense. Then you're going to have the option of selecting your audience. And in this case, we have the option of original audience options. We can pick custom audiences. We can add exclusions. We can select our location, age, and gender. And we can add any advanced detailed targeting plus options like demographics, interest groups, and behaviors. And we can select any languages we want to target. So with that being said, I want to cover something real quick before we move on. And it's that audiences don't work like you think they do. So to start with, let's cover interest groups. This is one of the oldest targeting options inside of Facebook, and a lot of people think this means that you like something. However, that's completely wrong. Interest groups are built around words that you've used and pages and places correlated with data to something. And these are over 33% inaccurate. What you need to understand here is if you go to a restaurant and you don't like it, and then you tell people, I don't like this restaurant, you're in the interest group of that restaurant because you've been there and you talked about it. Interest is neither sentiment or intent. And again, at least 1/3 of the people in every interest group is there by mistake because the Facebook engineering team hasn't updated this software since 2018. Next, we're going to focus on lookalikes. And a lot of people have been told this is a super focused audience of only the best people. That's totally wrong. A lookalike audience should be thought of as a massive exclusion of your total addressable market based on low integrity data of an attributed action. Let's say you've made 100 sales and you want to target an audience in America that's roughly 200 million. You could make a 1% lookalike based off those purchasers. What that means is you're using a data set of 100 people to turn a 200 million people audience into a 2 million people audience. And the honest truth is 100 people is not very good data. It's not very big. And what you're doing is paying extra to exclude 99% of people who want to buy from you. You're paying extra to make scaled success more difficult. You might get better results earlier, but they're often not sustainable and they're more expensive. So we don't really ever need to use lookalike audiences. Also, I want to talk about retargeting, which is often thought of as people ready to buy, which is totally wrong. The overwhelming majority of people in a retargeting audience have already decided not to buy or never actually cared at all. Think about it this way. If your website has a 2% conversion rate, that means 98% of the people in your retargeting audience have already made the decision to not buy. If you're spending a lot of your money to force content onto people who already don't want to see what you have to sell them, this is going to raise your cost of advertising everywhere. Remember that retention of attention and user engagement stuff we talked about earlier. When you use retargeting audiences, you're actually creating more harm than good. And often you'll be able to see, well, the results are better. Sure, in a way that is not scalable and in a way that ultimately just gets worse over time. This is the old way of doing things. And by old, I mean this has been obsolete since 2018. So let's focus on what you should be doing instead, which is broad targeting. And the overall conception of broad targeting is that this is no targeting at all. My ads are going to be shown to anybody for any reason. And that's totally wrong. Broad is the lack of exclusions that raise costs and prevent the best users from seeing your content. Basically, broad targeting allows the machine to show the best content to the right people for the lowest cost. Remember the retention of attention and user engagement stuff we've been talking about. Instead of paying extra to make sure that the people who want to see your content can't, you can save money by letting the machine do all of the hard work for you. And this will ultimately reduce your costs, improve your profits, and your ads won't fatigue when you use this option. So that being said, let's get to some Disruptor School best practices for you. Now, I know you love this video, and if you're ready to become truly elite at Facebook marketing and business growth, check this out. Bam! There's the QR code for the Facebook Ads MBA program. This is what I would do if I took over your business, and I will work with you directly to never need anybody else ever again. I've had hundreds of people go through this, and no one who's ever done the work has ever asked for their money back. This is the single greatest investment you can make in growing your skills and your business. All right, that being said, let's get back to the video. Choose Advantage Shopping Plus if you've never run ads before and have a lot of creative. This type of campaign will get you results early, but your ads will fatigue. This is the easy mode that Meta created to help more people get started into running ads. However, like most easy modes, it'll take somebody who's not skilled at all and make them good enough. But if you are better than that, it's also going to make you worse. It basically turns everybody into a C+ marketer. Also, choose cost per results goals if you do not care how much you spend, as long as the results on Meta is below a certain cost. This option will give you good results early, but your ads will fatigue. And spend will be erratic, but over time will go down unless you make new ads. Use broad targeting and 7-day click, 1-day view attribution. And really what this means is select the option of giving the platform the most amount of data and the least amount of restrictions. Broad targeting is simply defined as age, gender, and location. So you can say, I want to reach women over the age of 25 in the United States. Great. Everything other than that is dependent on your creative doing the targeting for you. That's how the Meta ad platform is designed to work. And if you ever have doubt in that, think about every time you ever posted a reel. And although you have 200 followers, it got seen 5,000 times. And think about how many times when you open up Instagram, you see content from people you didn't know existed that makes you happy. TikTok and YouTube use the exact same function that they actually stole from the Facebook newsfeed back in 2018. This is how all social media works. You can lean into it and save money and make more profit, or you can fight it and ultimately work a lot harder to make a lot less. So let's get into creating your successful ad. And there are 3 things we're going to cover here before showing the screen and walking you through this step by step. So the first is understanding that there are 3 types of creative content that you should really be focusing on making. And I'm actually going to describe them all in detail in just a moment. We also need to focus on writing copy that converts. And I'm going to show you how to do that too. And lastly, we need to cover dynamic creative or flex ads. So that being said, let's get into the type of content you should create so that you can make ads that improve your business. The first is vertical videos. You need to sell the why, generate interest, and earn attention. I want you to show me what you're about and why I should care. This is ultimately the handshake, or in more marketing terms, the top of the funnel. Second, we need reviews and testimonials. Identify and give examples of your target customers. Let your customers see their needs as being fulfilled. Let people see folks that look like them, that have their pain points, and how your product or service solved those problems and ultimately made them happier. This is to earn trust, and in a marketing sense can be thought of as a mid-funnel effort. You're probably not going to see this content until you're already aware of what the product or service is. And lastly, we want square images. You need to show the what, overcome objections, and display value. The point here is to make it very simple at a glance to understand what it is that you're selling. Give me features and benefits or price points or quality. Maybe it's made in USA or the lowest price, or you've got the best ingredients or the greatest components. This is really important because ultimately these ads serve to make the sale. These ads are generally not going to get as much spend. These ads are generally not going to be shown to people who haven't already seen UGC and testimonials and maybe seen some of your vertical videos. These ads are also probably going to be shown to people who have been on your competitors' websites and they're shopping around. These are the things that help you become more efficient, where the other 2 ads help you reach more people. So now let's cover writing copy that converts. What we need to understand is that an ad on Meta has 2 primary places where we have copy. The first one is the headline, and the headline should tie the creative to the offer. And you have 40 characters max with which to do this. The point of the headline is ultimately to grab attention and earn a click. Also, a headline is not shown when an ad is on Instagram. We only have a primary text, so keep that in mind when you're writing your ads. Now, a primary text should give context to the headline and a preview of the landing page. This will show up to 125 characters before there's the option of see more. And what you really should be thinking about here is above the fold and below the fold. You should have enough information before the see more that somebody want to click anyway. And also have the option that if folks want to learn more, they can click the see more and read more about what it is that they're actually clicking on to get them more primed to convert when they actually land on your website. One of the tricks that I used back in the day is I would have something very catchy above the fold and then another link below the fold to a Facebook group or a Slack channel or some sort of FAQ section on my website. Provide value. This is basically two parts of a conversation. There's the handshake and then the elevator pitch. So treat it as such, and you're going to be a lot better. And lastly, we have the strategy to our copy. We need to make sure that there is continuity between the creative and the landing page. The best practice here is to have it sound like the brand. If your ads have a bunch of great words that get me super excited, and then I go to your website and it doesn't say any of the same things and feels like a completely different business, odds are you're not going to get my sale. So make sure that no matter how exciting you get on having the greatest sales copy ever, that it ultimately falls in line with what your landing page looks like. The ad is only earning attention and getting a click by piquing someone's interest. If what they see after they click has nothing to do with what they saw beforehand, you're going to have bad results. And the last thing that you need to remember here is don't focus on selling to yourself. Your market is much bigger than you. Now, one little trick here that I want to cover before we get any further is writing copy with AI. So a couple of tips for you. First, focus on the business goal of the meta ads that you're running. Second, make sure that you use other marketing efforts as a source. For instance, often the best headlines are just the words that you put above the add to cart button on your website. And for that matter, sometimes the best primary text are the words you put below. Remember, there should be continuity, and if these words are already really good at converting somebody after they've landed on your webpage, why not use them in the ad to get somebody to click there in the first place? And also, you should really focus on using the words of your customers in your copy. Speak to them the way that they talk about the problems and the product. When people feel like you're talking to them in their words, they're far more likely to care about what you have to say. So I'm going to show you how to write copy that converts using AI. We're going to go to disruptorschool.com and we're actually going to write ads for the Facebook Ads MBA program, and AI is going to do everything. All right, this is the Facebook Ads MBA program landing page. Awesome. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up a new tab and we're going to go to chatgpt.com/GPTs. Great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to search for the 322 Method Ads Copywriter with Disruptor School. Trusted by over 5,000 people, 4.5 rating. This is pretty good. I'm pretty stoked that it's been rated that highly by so many folks. So the first step here is to choose one of four options. We can give the machine the URL to a landing page. We can give it previous winning ad copy. We can give the machine a transcription to our video ads. Or we can ask the machine to just ask us about the offer so that it can write copy for us. Now, in this case, let's assume that we've never written an ad before, so we don't have any previous winning ad copy. And let's say maybe we're going to use an image ad, so we don't have any video transcriptions, and we've built a landing page that we're pretty proud of, so we don't need the machine to ask us about the offer because we've already built a page that works. So now we want to write copy that converts, that pairs with that landing page. So we're going to choose option number 1. So now we're just going to go ahead and paste in the URL to the landing page, in this case, disruptorschool.com/MBA. And the machine is going to confirm that this is actually the offer that we want to promote, just to make sure that we're good to go before getting started. Now let's tell the machine this is the right offer. Let's get started. Now that we've confirmed this is the right offer, the machine is asking us really to confirm what the concept for our ads is going to be. Are we talking about features and benefits? Are we talking about price point? And it's going to give us a couple of suggestions. So here it said, is it the community support, lifetime access, or something else? And I like that. So let's go ahead and say we're going to write ads around the concept of community support and lifetime access. So Now we've confirmed that, and the machine is going to get hard at work. While this is going on, by the way, you can go ahead and save a little bit of money. If you want to join Disruptor School Inner Circle, there's a link in here for you. Now, it's going to give us 10 great Facebook ad headlines. All we have to do is pick 2 of them that we like. Now, in this case, I think that I really enjoy the idea of lifetime access to expert Facebook ad strategies. And let's go ahead and say that we also really like expert support and lifetime learning in Facebook ads. So that's number 8. So we have 1 and 8. Great. Now, using those headlines is going to write primary text that we can copy and paste into our ads. It really is just this simple. And it's even going to give us a few suggested pairings if we're going to go ahead and build ads outright instead of using dynamic creative or flex ads. For instance, set number 1 says, unlock lifetime access to expert Facebook ad strategies. And our primary text is, tired of trial and error with your Facebook ads? With Disruptor School's MBA program, you get lifetime access to proven strategies and expert support. From creative testing to scaling, learn everything you need to know to dominate Facebook ads. Join now and unlock exclusive resources forever. That's a lot better than anything I would have ever written. And there's a lot of other options. And if you wanted to give it suggestions or you wanted to adjust your tone and style, you can hit these buttons to do that. Let me show you one more example of this, and then we'll go ahead and build these ads. We're going to adjust the tone and style here, and we want to ask it to add some urgency. Great. So now the machine has set up 5 new sets of primary text, leveraging more of the sense of urgency, which we asked of it. And we can review all of these and ultimately copy and paste the ones we like directly into the Facebook ad account because we have copy that converts pairing with ads that will succeed and scale. So let's look at set number 5. Our headline is unlock lifetime access to expert Facebook ad strategies. Great. That's the headline we liked. Let's take a look at this primary text. Success is just one step away, but you need to act fast. With Disruptor School's Facebook Ads MBA, you'll get lifetime access to strategies that scale, along with expert community support. Don't delay, start transforming your ads now before spots run out. This is excellent copy, so let's go ahead and start making our ads. You're gonna go to the Ads Manager tab inside your Business Manager, click on the green plus Create button, select the campaign and ad set the new ad will be built in. Name your ad, and then pick what Facebook page and IG profile the ad should be run from. Select Create Ad or use existing post. And if we're going to create the ad, you can select your creative source and format. From here, you're going to click on All Media and then select or upload your images and videos. You can enter your primary text and headlines and descriptions, and then finally select a call to action. Now, before we move on, I want to touch on dynamic creative or flex ads at a very surface level. And if you want to know more information, I got a great video here that dives super deep into it. But right now, let me just get you with enough information to be successful today. Flexible ads allow you to upload up to 10 images or videos for a single ad, up to 5 primary text and 5 headlines. The advantage of a dynamic creative or flexible ad is that you don't need to select different ad formats for different placements. The best version of each ad will be shown to the right person at the right time to give the best experience and ultimately improve your estimated action rate. Estimated action rate, by the way, is how Facebook decides who to show your content to and how much to charge you to show that content. Remember that every Meta ad is just a web page on Meta's website, both Instagram and Facebook. And they are measuring the click-through rate, the bounce rate, the stickiness, the engagement rate of that ad, as well as what happens on your website when somebody clicks on it. When people engage with your content, when they like what you have to say, when they click on it and spend time on your website and have a good experience, you're going to be able to show your content to more people for a lower price, and you're going to reach higher quality people when you're doing it. Remember, estimated action rate is what this is all about. And that goes back to being a best business partner. So that being said, I have a couple Disruptor School best practices here for you. Always test ads using the 3-2-2 method, and then pull the post ID of your best ad to use in your control ad set. The 3-2-2 method is 3 creatives of the same format and concept, 2 primary text and 2 headlines that go with that creative. I always suggest that you use standard CTAs like shop now and sign up and learn more and apply now. There is data behind how people engage with these buttons. And when you use atypical buttons, you're accessing much smaller pieces of information. And remember, the whole point here is to leverage Facebook and Instagram to do all of the work for you. That's why the Meta Business Suite is super powerful. And the cheat code I'm teaching you today is how to leverage the machine to do all of the work for you. Also, testing different CTAs won't make a difference. I've done this at scale. I've spent over $100 million on CTA tests over the last 10 years. And the honest truth is, the standard one works better. And if it doesn't make sense, it just won't work nearly as well. So now we've built our successful campaign and our ad sets and our ads. So let's talk about how to optimize and scale so that ultimately we can make more money, which is really kind of what this is all about, right? Okay, there are 3 things we're gonna cover here. First, your real results. Then we're gonna cover the 4 PI analysis, which is the only 4 metrics in your ad account you really need to pay attention to, and is gonna help you at a glance understand if your ads are doing well or poorly, and more importantly, which ad is the one you should be improving with all of those tests that we just talked about. And last, we're gonna get into scaling your account. So let's dive into it, because this takes us from building the foundation to ultimately making a lot more money. So let's get started. First, we're gonna talk about how to optimize your account. When optimizing your account, you need to know your real results. And there's a big difference between your ecosystem versus your platform results. And this is platform cost per result versus actual blended costs. What you really need to understand here is that what it says on the platform and what you see in your bank account are not the same thing. And there are a lot of reasons for this. First thing we need to know is that the platform will never give you 100% accurate results. And this happens for many reasons. The most common 3 are people have ad blocking on, or they're on a mobile device that's going through some weird connection issue, or also it's software and sometimes it glitches. So what really matters is your actual blended results. Basically, what are the actual number of sales that were made, or leads that you got, or revenue that is in your bank account? What does your cash register have to say? That's your source of truth. And remember that your ads platform is going to be close, but it's not always going to be perfect. We also know that if it's not perfect, it's probably off by more or less the same amount every time. So while it's not perfect, we can still trust that there's some sort of translation between what the platform says and what our actual bank account sees. The other thing we need to keep in mind is that your ads are one part of the funnel in the customer journey. So let's start at the very end and work our way back to the beginning. The very end of the customer journey is somebody giving you money more than once. And this is really reliant on your business model and product experience and customer service and a million things that are very much out of the control of the actual ads that you're running on Meta. So before that is, did somebody ever actually convert? And this has everything to do with the conversion rate of the landing page, but also in e-commerce, how much money did they spend? What was their average order value? So here we have things like conversion rate and average order value, which again can be influenced by the ad, but have everything to do with the landing page and the customer experience when they're on your website. Now, email and SMS is the cheapest. It often costs less than a penny to reach somebody, but you're only ever going to reach people that have already given you this information. So this is what we call bottom of funnel. It's the smallest group of most highly qualified individuals. And this is what we call also inventory marketing. I'm sending a message to a set inventory, and this is phone numbers and emails. Above that, we have mid-funnel advertising. This is also called intent-based advertising. And this is most often done on what we call pay-per-click platforms. This is your Google ads, your Bing ads, your Amazon. This is where you put in keywords into an ads platform. When somebody's looking for a very specific thing, you come up and they buy from you. Now, above that is what we call top of funnel or intent creation. And this is where your meta ads sit and also your organic marketing sits. This is where TikTok and YouTube sit. This is where word of mouth sits. These are the things that have the least amount of correlation to somebody actually buying, but is how you reach the most people. This is where we get somebody into the sales funnel. And the reason this is really important to know is that ultimately your ads don't make somebody buy. Your ads buy attention to push somebody further down into the funnel and ultimately also further along in the customer journey. The last thing we need to know here is that your ads operate as a portfolio. Every ad that you run impacts every other marketing effort that you have. And this is really important because when you change your ads on Meta, that's also going to impact how your Amazon or search results look. That's going to impact the people that give you their phone number or email address. And ultimately, this is going to impact the kind of people that land on your website. So the things that you've done to improve conversion rate and impact AOV and second purchase rate, those are all going to be impacted by your ads running on Facebook. When you change your ads on Meta, this will ultimately change the people that are going to your website, which means the things that you've done on your pages to improve your conversion rate or to improve your AOV or buy a second time, all of those decisions are impacted too. So we have to think of our ads as a portfolio. We're not looking for a winning ad. We're looking for the best team. Remember what we talked about before. It's about identifying the weakest link in your chain and ultimately making that stronger. It's not about identifying the strongest link and then putting all of the work on that one piece alone. That is not sustainable. Ultimately, when people do that, it dramatically impacts their opportunity and scale. It makes them work harder to make less money. So knowing that all of our ads work together as a portfolio, let's get into the 4 PI analysis. These are the 4 key performance indicators that you need to look at, which is spend, frequency, CPM, and efficiency. This is often cost per purchase or cost per lead or cost per app download or click. It's how efficiently can we get the desired action to occur. Looking at these 4 metrics is how we can know if an ad is doing its job well. We're going to understand if it's a prospecting ad versus a retargeting ad, or in the way that Facebook is using that ad, if it's a top of funnel, mid funnel, or bottom funnel ad in Facebook. Now, we also have a cheat sheet here that we're going to get to in a little bit, but I want to break this down for you. And there's a pretty simple way of looking at everything that's going to help you understand in 30 seconds how your ads are doing. Generally speaking, ads with a lower frequency should have a lower CPM. This means that Meta is showing this ad to more people and each person less often each day. These ads also tend to get more budget. Going back before to the user experience and the retention of attention, this is the content that the most amount of people want to see. And as a result, it's being shown to people who are maybe not as ready to buy or to sign up or to give you their information. So the efficiency here is low. Here's the thing you need to remember. Low frequency should be paired with a low CPM, and we can expect a low efficiency. This is a top of funnel ad. We're reaching the most amount of people for the lowest price, the least amount of times per person. And that means that we're probably going to make fewer sales from that one ad. We're probably going to get fewer leads from that one ad, but it's part of our overall team. And this is why you often have thought, why is Meta spending all the money on the ad with the worst result? If you go back and look at every time you've ever said that, I can assure you, overwhelmingly, that ad had a low frequency and a low CPM. And when you turned it off, everything else got worse because you were drying up the funnel. So if we know that that's the case for something that's top funnel, what does the opposite look like? If we have a high daily frequency, we expect a high CPM. And as a result, we expect a high efficiency. These ads in general get a lot less spend, right? How many times have you looked at an ad account or heard somebody say, wow, my best ad never gets spent? If you look at it, those ads are going to have a higher frequency and a higher CPM. What's important to know here is that these all work together. And if you were to take that best ad that was most efficient and ask it to spend all of your money, those results won't hold. So remember, it's about the team approach. Now, when you look at your ads, you're going to find that some of these might have a low frequency but a high CPM and are not very efficient. That's a bad prospecting ad. Or you might see that they have a very high frequency and a very high CPM, but they are also not very efficient. That's a bad retargeting ad. You might also find that you get an ad that gets all the budget and the frequency is super low and the CPM is super low and the efficiency is terrible. What you have there is an ad that is too good at prospecting. And this is how we can take a look at why our ads are doing a good job or a bad job. Inversely, you might see that all of your ads have a high frequency and a high CPM and are efficient, but every time you try to spend more money, they don't work anymore. And it's because all of your ads are retargeting ads. And if they don't have anybody to retarget, they're just gonna fall apart. So what I've done here is I've built you a very quick cheat sheet to understand your frequency in general, if this is a prospecting ad, a mid-funnel ad, or a retargeting ad at the bottom of the funnel. And you can reference this cheat sheet whenever you want. I would, look at the timestamp and remember it, bookmark this so you can come back later or print your screen, whatever it is you want to do. Now, one thing I want to preface before we dive any deeper, when we're looking at this, we only care about frequency by day. So I want you to go into your ad account and instead of looking at all of your results over time, I want you to go to delivery and breakdown and by day. And here's how you do that. So here's what that frequency number actually means. If your frequency number is between a 1 and a 1.15, that means it's pretty top of funnel. Now, a way of thinking about this is if my ad is coming in at a 1.1 frequency, that means that 10% of people are seeing my ad twice today. That means 10% of people are being retargeted with my ad today by Meta. Now, if my frequency is between a 1.15 and a 1.25, this is generally more of a mid-funnel effort. That means that 25% of people are seeing my ad twice today. 25% of people are being retargeted by this ad. That is pretty sizable. Now, if you go above that and you get to the 1.25, 1.35, maybe a 1.5 or a 2, that is a bottom of funnel ad. A 1.5 means 50% of people are seeing my ad twice today. A frequency on a day of a 2 means that 100% of people are seeing that ad twice today. How many people are being retargeted versus how much of your spend is going towards reaching new people? That's what this number's actually telling us. The more that ad is retargeting somebody, the more expensive it is to reach those people. That's your CPM. And as a result, the more efficient that ad should be at delivering you your results. That's our efficiency. Now you know every player on your team, what their job is, and if they're doing that job well. So you can optimize your account merely by improving the ads that aren't doing their job well. This is the best way to get better results. And ultimately, getting better results is what will allow us to scale our ad account. Now, when scaling your ads, we need to understand that you can scale efficiency or we can scale budget. Can we make our money work harder? Or do we just want to spend more money on the way that the ads are working together? Now remember, you can run 3-2-2 ads on some creative testing to improve how your ads work, and they will work harder for you. Without spending more money, you're going to get more results. Maybe you can't get any better, but the results are good enough, so you can just add more budget. That's the decision to be made. But something that nobody else will talk about, and I want you to really understand, is that scaling efficiency is a lot stickier than scaling budget. A great rule of thumb here is, if you reduce your cost per action by 10%, you can increase your budget a lot more than 10% to take advantage of that scaled efficiency. However, it is almost impossible to expect that if you were to just scale your budget by 10%, that you'd be able to keep the same level of efficiency. So think of it this way. If I'm driving 10 sales a day and I improve my efficiency by 10%, I'm gonna get 11 sales per day for the same amount of money. However, if I'm getting 10 sales a day and I wanna increase my budget by 10%, it is not likely that I'm gonna get 10% more sales. And that's because when you add budget, your results get less efficient. So I want you to scale your efficiency and then scale your spend. So the next thing we need to cover is vertical versus horizontal scaling. And this is simply, do you want to do more of what's working, or do you want to add a new business objective and create a new campaign? Simply put, we can get taller or we can get wider. Now, there are good reasons for each one of these, and the right choice is going to be dependent on your situation. We're actually going to talk about that here in a little bit when we get to the best practices for this section. But generally speaking, there are two things that you need to know. First, when you scale vertically, and that means add more budget, it is unlikely that your results will be as good as they are now when it comes to efficiency. And number two, when you scale horizontally by adding in more campaigns, it becomes far more difficult to understand why something is happening in the rest of your business. Also, those new campaigns are not going to be as stable as what you already have running. So there's an upside and a downside to both, and you just need to know what the right choice is for you. The last part of scaling that you need to know is surfing versus stable. And these are two different types of budget scaling tactics. So there's a very common way of scaling budgets that's called surfing. And basically it means that if your results are good today, surf that budget, push it higher and higher. And if results are bad today, pull back on your budget. The problem is this means you also have to be staring at your ad account every single day. And this can absolutely bring you really good days, but it's extremely stressful and it requires a lot of effort, and it's not very sustainable. And instead, if you were just able to 2 to 4x your budget every month, your worst day in a few months would be better than your best day could ever be while surfing, and it'll happen every single day. So with all of that being said, I have some Disruptor School best practices here for you. So first, only make changes when you have to. If your results are good enough, or if you feel comfortable adding budget, the worst thing you could do is launch new campaigns or new ads. The purpose of your ads and your sales funnel and your customer journey is to be making money. Ultimately, the purpose of your ads and your sales funnel and your customer journey is to be comfortable with the business results that you have. If you've solved that problem, don't invest in changing the way it works. The second thing we need to know is that there's time, money, and confidence. And you will only ever get two of the three. The right and best move depends on which two you want. So a great way to think about this is, if I want to be very confident in a short amount of time, I'm gonna have to spend a lot of money. Or if I have a little bit of money and I wanna be very confident, that means I'm gonna have to take a long time to get something done. You're never gonna be super confident on a little amount of money in a short period of time. That's just not the way it works. So evaluate the decisions you're gonna make around these three things, and which two do you wanna have most? Remember that the more complicated something is, the harder it is to know why you have a good or a bad day. And if all we're ever doing is focusing on making things a little bit better every day, then we want to have extreme confidence in what each move we make does to the rest of the business. So when you decide to run new ads and new campaigns and promote new products and offers, know that that comes at the expense of the ability to know why something is working or if it's not working at all. So when you're thinking about running new ads or launching new ad sets or building new campaigns to promote different offers, remember that comes at the expense of the ability to have confidence in what your efforts are doing in the rest of the business. Remember that profit volume is money in the bank. Profit margin in your ad account is not. You will see a lot of folks talk about getting the lowest CPA on Facebook, using cost controls to spend at the greatest profit margin. You'll see people talking about contribution margin and MER and ROAS. And while all of these numbers have value, the most important number is ultimately volume. What is your profit volume? What is your customer volume? And remember this, 100% profit on $100 is a lot less than 1% profit on $1 million. And it's a lot easier for you to get more customers in a slightly less efficient way than it is to maintain efficiency and get more money. So very often you will see that the results in your ad account don't match your results in your bank account. And sometimes your ads get better and better and better, and the only thing that happens is you have less and less money in your bank account because those ads are getting better and better by taking more and more credit for the work done by everything else in the funnel and in the customer journey. And that is the biggest mistake I see most people make. And before I leave you, I want you to remember this. Slow and steady wins the race, unless you're drop shipping, in which case move quickly. And I said before, when it comes to scaling your budget, instead of surfing, move slowly. In surfing, you could double or triple your budget today and then have to start all over in 3 days. Now, your other option is to say, do I feel comfortable spending 5% more? If you can say yes to that question 3 times a week, 5%, 3 times a week, doesn't sound like a lot, but that will double your budget every month. And if you can say yes and add 5% more or less every single day, you could 4x your daily budget. And this is what's really important. If you can double your budget every month, that's a 37 times increase at the end of the year. You could have every day be 37 times more. There's no way you'll ever be able to surf your budget to get to that level. So what I want to leave you with is just simply solve simple problems. Make the ad account a little bit better every day. Lean into giving people positive user experiences. Measure your results across the impact of your entire business. And remember, if you keep it simple and scale slowly, what you will have over a short period of time is a lot more than if you were to make it complicated and be very aggressive. I would propose that you would rather take a little bit more time so that you could make way more money and be way more confident. If every month things got twice as good and it took you a lot less work and a lot less effort, that would be a much better situation than you sitting at the machine 12 to 18 hours a day trying to play it like the lottery. And that's what this is all about. Remember, it's the ads manager. You are the manager. It works for you. And the best managers in the world have employees that don't need them. And that's ultimately your goal. And what I hope you got away from this today is how to set up the machine to do all of the hard work for you, so that you can simply lean in a little bit more a couple times a week. And that is the secret to how I've been able to take brands and get them 3 or 5 or 700% growth every year. And that's ultimately what you deserve. So at the beginning of this video, I made you a promise that you're going to see a massive giveaway, and I meant it. Now, if you go to disruptyourSchool.com/Facebook giveaway, and no, the link is not in the description. You will not get this link unless you watch this part of the video. You will get the complete Facebook ads guide bundle for free. This usually costs hundreds. You can go to disruptyourSchool.com right now and pay me for it if you want to, but you don't have to. So let me tell you everything that you're going to get. This bundle is everything that you need to know to start seeing more success. You're going to get a guide on profitable scaling margin, the one campaign strategy, dive deeper into mastering the 3-2-2 method, understanding your hero offer, dive deeper into how Facebook works. You're also going to understand the power of Facebook data and more about targeting and audiences. So again, go to disruptyourSchool.com/Facebook giveaway today and get this for free. I want you to succeed. Now, the reason I do all of this stuff is so that I can spend more time with my family. And that's what this is all about. And what I hope you get out of this is the confidence to know what to do and when to do it. So save this video. There are timestamps for every single step. And if you watch this and you're ready for more, down in the description, you're going to see links for 4 different resources that I have built for you. The first one's called the Begin to Win bundle, where I'm going to walk you through a lot of this stuff, but in deeper steps. If you're ready to go from intermediate to fully self-sufficient, that's $7 to get started. After that, we have Disrupt Your School Inner Circle, where if you've mastered all of this stuff and you want to start getting better at everything else, that is the best place for you to go. If you're in a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s a day, there's no better investment. And that starts at $100. After that, you will see a link for the Facebook Ads MBA program, where I take all of this as step 1 of a marathon to make you truly elite. That's what I would do if I took over your ad account, and I explain every single step of the way so that you will never need anybody else. And that is probably the single greatest investment you can make in the future of your business and your team. And below that, you're going to see a link for Disrupt Your Agency, where if you love all of this and you're just saying, you know what, I just don't have the time. I've gotten it to a level where I'm happy. I've done this. And now I really want to focus on everything else. You can get me and my team to work on your business. And with all that being said, one more time from baby Charlie and me, thank you very much. I hope you have a great day. Until next time, I'll see you on the internet. Bye.